folks, Jessica here. So, quick impromptu vid since the update just finished. Also, my cats are running around in the background, so please don't mind them. Uh, this update brings a lot of the changes that were mentioned in the live stream, so I figured it'd be good to do an impressions video. The biggest thing that came out is they added the new epic weapons to the tier 3 impossible summon bosses. So, let's see if I name all. Prometheus, Marigna, Kaong, Gilgamesh, Hector, and Anubis. So those bosses now have these new weapons. We'll talk about them in a little bit of detail in a second. Keep in mind that the information, like this patch is super fresh, so the information on them might not be 100% up to date yet, but I'll talk about what my first impressions of them are. In addition to that, the original epic weapons that came from the bosses, which still come from those bosses, is now they're now 4-star uncappable. For the most part, this hasn't changed anything significantly, so I'm not going to talk about these a lot. Some of their charge effects are slightly improved, but at a glance, like there's not a huge game-changing like difference here. If you were not going to use them before, you're probably still not going to use them, and if you were going to use them before, then you're probably still going to use them. New stickers, bunch of changes to different raids. These raids in particular are Rose Queen, Team at Malice, Imperial Assumption, Dark Rapture. These now let you get 2 potions for setting a sticker instead of requesting backup. There's probably, I would theorize, there's a few reasons for these changes. Among them, if you request backup in while you're soloing, it makes you ineligible for the solo achievement, obviously. So being able to get these potions from sticker means you have access to another potion when you're trying to solo these. That's not going to be super meaningful for a lot of people, but you know, it's nice to have if you try and solo some of these bosses. The maximum player limit for the tier 3 impossible bosses, the ones that drop the weapons, went from 6 to 18. Also, I think they mentioned this at the bottom. Yeah, they removed gold bricks from these bosses' tables. That matters, I suppose, if you were trying to farm these for gold bricks, but honestly, I've never seen a gold brick drop from these. The rate's really, really, really low, so, you know, it's kind of a negative for people, but at the same time, it's not really that big a deal. These going 18-man will probably make them like a lot more commonly run, since they'll go a lot faster. They changed the specific fights a bit. Not going to get into the details of these. Might do a specific video on each of these at some point, but yeah, they changed around the fights a little bit. And yeah, that's about all the major changes. Let's talk about what everyone's super interested in, properly, the weapons. Let me pull up a window real fast. I will disappear from sight for a second. I'm still here, though, don't worry. Oh, another thing is they added 2 new characters, which is a little weird, because as far as I know, they pretty much always add new characters only during, oh, that's really cute art, only during Legfest or Flashfest. So having these occur right now when there's no, like, gala going on is a little weird, but, yeah, I'm not sure what this means, like, if this is the thing they're going to continue doing. Haven't really looked at Dark and 30 that much, but she seems pretty good at initial glance. And then you have SR Cassius. It's your secondary art. Huh. Eating watermelon, huh? Alright, but the weapons. As I said, just real quick, these things got can go to skill level 15 now, and then have a higher level cap, 150. Some of them have changed in a way, like a minor way, like Flames of Prometheus go from 15% fire def down to 20% fire def down on the charge attack, but otherwise, as far as we know right now, they're unchanged. So yeah, it doesn't really change these up that much. If you were uncomfortable with the damage you take from Fire of Prometheus before, I don't think anything about this update changes that. I will say a couple of these weapons were already pretty good, like Herm Anubis, sorry, for dark players. So this thing getting an upgrade is actually, you know, pretty nice, because this was definitely a solid dark weapon before. 30% double attack, triple attack up on charge attack, and then charge attack damage cap, pretty solid. All Might Spear is one I look at sometimes just because it's charge attack damage cap up for Earth, and then it's decent. Like these are most of these are decent weapons. They're more decent now. So like definitely look into them if you have some open slots in your grid. But the thing that we really want to talk about are these new epic weapons. As far as I know, these can't be traded from. These are only drops from the boss, and I think these start at you can immediately, like these are immediately able to go to 4 stars. So the sword, I'm making huge air quotes here. It's weird you not being able to see me. This sword, it's medium boost attack based on how low HP is, so fire enmity. It's a normal modifier, do note, which is interesting. This is a skill a couple of them have. Grand Epic, boost attack on how many epic weapons you have equipped. I don't know how I feel about this and the weapons that have this. The epic weapons are basically anything from these bosses, from Prometheus, Morigna, Anubis, etc., Hector. The issue of this skill is, again, like there's not a lot of epic weapons. It's just this weapon itself, and then like Fires of Prometheus. And especially in case of Fires of Prometheus, you're probably not going to want to run a ton of them because you're taking so much damage every turn from them. So it's going to vary for a lot of people whether or not this is a big deal. Also, this is just a regular attack boost. It's not an attack cap boost. So again, probably not worth significantly changing your grid for this one in particular. But time will tell. It depends on it depends to a degree on what the specific percentages on this are. Like if it's like a huge boost for just having like 1 epic weapon or 2 epic weapons, then it could change things. But in general, this effect itself is rather unexciting. Let's see, the water one. And this is an interesting thing to note. Usually when they do a weapon set, like a set of weapons like this, come on, stop lagging, Granblue Fantasy Wiki. These you could consider a cycle. They usually have relatively similar types of effects. So like if you look at the Ultimate Weapon cycle, the Ultimate Weapons all have the same effect, essentially. The Dark Opus weapons all have the same effect. Like it's rare for weapons in the same cycle have dramatically different effects, but these do, so keep that in mind. Hoarfrost Stamina, so again, it is normal modifier. This is stamina weapon, more attack based on how high your HP is, and then multi-rate attack up based on how many staves are equipped. That is potentially interesting. I've said this before, but for water, they are definitely like culprit number 1 of pushing the charge attack meta. So like multi-attack rate isn't that important for them. But if it were to become important, let me pull up a grid real fast. Time back. My water grid, for example. I'm running like the Ultima stave, the 2 Drang blue balls, which are staves, and then also the Xeno staff, which is a stave, and then the Wand of Gabriel, which is a stave. So, and then it'll be 6 staves if you include the Savior of the Hollow Ground, the new epic weapon. So the fact that it's based on staves actually fits in with water really well, and if it's a significant multi-attack boost, then this weapon could be pretty solid. Like, it's kind of like a weird combination of Thimble and Murglace. So I'm going to keep an eye on this one. If the meta changes for water to be more reliant on multi-attack and like just regular auto-attacking, then this could be a big deal. Let me flip back. Hello, kitty. All right, on to the next one. Oh, and it goes out saying you should not use any of these as fodder. Information is still being like found out about these, so potentially, there could be something people are missing. Just hold on to them if you get them. Not that I think anybody would run out to fodder these anyways. The Gilgamesh raid has a new axe. Hello, child. What are you doing? Do you want to sit in my lap? Do you want my Diet Coke? What do you want, honey? Hang on. Sorry, the cat emergency. You can't see him. Okay. So this one's interesting. Charge attack, 20% boosted charge bar. Great, sure. More charge bar is good. These are EX skills, keep in mind. So they contest with stuff like the Xeno weapons in terms of like going to EX slot. But skill damage cap up, solid. Always solid. Like any kind of damage cap up, always solid. Skill damage, not my favorite, but I mean it's better than no damage cap up. And then boost to attack and damage cap when all weapon types are equipped. This one is a little bit tricky. Again, I'm going to pull up a grid real fast. Issue of this one is having every weapon type accounted for is a little tricky in some grids. Like, there's the Kame effect where it is every weapon has to be different. And that, I think, is considerably easier than having every weapon type equipped. Reason being, like right now I have like double AK-4As, so like automatically this doesn't work. But also I've got two katanas. I have the Ultima katana, the Atma katana rather, and Kane's katana, and then I've got two swords. This is Gandalf's sword and the Magnus sword, and also like the Xeno sword and the two heart. Like it's hard, like getting all different weapons. All I would have to change out is this AK-4A, which kind of sucks, but totally fine if I wanted to have a grid that was Kame enabled. But having every weapon type, that's a much taller order, and yeah. Don't know how I feel about that fact. If you can enable it, then great, but I don't think most grids are going to be able to enable that without making significant sacrifices to their overall potency. And that's kind of the thing with these types of weapons. You have to measure, like, are you sacrificing running a really powerful grid that was already powerful before this thing came along? Are you sacrificing that to be able to run this? And then if you are, is the gain from this gonna be enough? And unless these cap boosts are major, and I think it's 10%, at least it is for some of the other weapons, but I'm not sure. That's probably not a big enough change to warrant making a sacrifice in terms of what you're running. All right, the green one, Unius. Bonus wind damage, effect MC. Great, sure. Whirlwind's Might. Again, this one's normal. So we had like 3 normal modifiers and an EX modifier, I believe. This one also has Grand Epic. Same issue. Though I will say the epic weapon for wind, Lefay, is potentially something you might run 2 of, so this might be a little bit better. That would be a 20% cut to HP, but Lefay is boost to allies attack and multi-attack rate. It's basically a Cortana, and that is a pretty solid effect. So, like, not necessarily as dangerous as running 2 fires of Prometheus or something. Though I suppose you could run 2 Unius or 2 of the air quotes sword. The light one, being a light main, I was particularly interested in this one and slightly disappointed. This one is 15% damage cut to all allies to under turn. I mean, I would rather... I don't like having defensive abilities on my charge attack unless they're ones that stick around for like until they're consumed, because I don't want to hold my charge attack when there's an ideal turn to charge attack for the defensive properties. So this is incidentally okay, but overall not that exciting. Medium boost to light allies crit rate. This is Thunder, so again, normal modifier. They improved the rate for... so previously, crit hit worked a little bit different for Magna grids and Primal grids, for normal grids. But they recently changed it so they are now both the same. Previously, it was Magna benefited a lot more from crit than Primal grids did. So, crit rate is a little bit better these days. Again, this is based on how many epic weapons are equipped. And Light has a decent one. Where is it? Bow of Iliad. This is a stamina double attack rate bow. It's fine. I just noticed it has the exact same charge attack. If you're running this, then consider running the new epic weapon as well. But it's not, like I said, it's not a game changer. And when I say game changer, I guess I'm saying the bar pretty high, but if it works for you, definitely run it, but I wouldn't go out of your way to farm these. And then the big one. This one, I think, is actually a game changer, potentially. This one is the most exciting of them for me. It is boost to multi-attack rate on charge attack, which I assume it's the same rate as Hermanubis. But first skill is an EX boost to skill damage cap for all dark allies. Okay, sure, that's cool. But the second one, absolute equality, boost to attack and damage cap when all weapons equipped are different. This is the Kame effect, basically. Give you an example. Pull open my dark grid. My dark grid is not an ideal candidate for this right now, but it could be if I made some adjustments. In particular, if I dropped a Gisla and swapped it out for, well, this thing, basically. Makes me really sad to swap out a Gisla, to be honest. Or I could pop a Dark Angel Libya sword in instead of something. With the Dark Opus weapons out and the new weapons are adding, you see a lot more grids that have varieties of weapons in them. So this Kame type effect where you need all weapons different is easier to proc these days than it was previously, unless you're water and you're running 3 Granblue balls and 3 Europa harps. But that's neither here nor there. So this one, potentially, it's a damage cap increase. It's a 10% damage cap increase. And it's an EX modifier, so you probably just swap out the Xeno Katana for it or something. It's exciting, but that's not the only reason it's interesting to me. Let me pull open the window. Oh, by the way, the attack boost is 20%, which is a pretty significant boost. So 20% attack, 10% damage cap for all allies, and you're probably already reading the thing I'm thinking of. The thing that makes this really interesting, absolute equality has no element restriction. I don't know if this is going to change. I give this a 50% chance of maybe they'll change it, because I know they don't like having things that have no element restriction in general. They've traditionally tried to change characters that had that perk, that kind of quirk to them, so they couldn't be used on any team. But right now, this has no element restriction, and is a 20% EX attack boost and a 10% damage cap boost to any ally. This is a big deal, because, again, let's pull up a grid. If you're already running Kame for Earth, then, this is just more Kame effect, basically. My fire team, for example, I'm running 2 Ixaba now. Where is my fire team? Yeah. I'm running a couple doubles right now, 2 Ixaba. But if I swapped out Ixaba, that's a tricky thing to balance, because Ixaba is really good. But in theory, I could swap out Ixaba and get the cap up from this. It's a 10% cap up. That's pretty big. The fact that this can be used on any team could potentially be huge. Time will tell. And time will also tell if this is a mistake and something they will change. But I imagine if they're going to change it, they're going to change it in the next few days, because usually they get a lot of bad response if they change it down the road. But for my dark team itself, definitely just as is. I'll drop a Gisla. It's fine. I'll be less stamina reliant. Probably I could even drop both. Oh god, it hurts to say. It hurts to say. I could drop both Gislas and then get a Dark Angel Olivia sword and just go stamina instead of empty. But we'll see. We'll see. That might be crazy talk. Anyways, that's been a quick overview of the new weapons in this patch. I will probably do an update or something if it turns out any of this information is wildly incorrect. Like I said, the patch has only been out for a few hours, so we're still figuring out where everything stands. But right now, as I said, the big things to watch out for, probably the scale of domination, the dark weapon, and then the ones that have the grand epic boost, the one that requires a lot of epic weapons. If you're already using an epic weapon or two, they only get better with that effect. So yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Hope this was helpful for folks. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out all of my social media and my Patreon and my Discord and whatnot in the comments below. Super appreciate that. See you guys later. Bye.